Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Let's begin with the headlines. Vice President Kashim Shettima assures airline operators of better operating environment. President Bola Tinubu assents to National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Bill.
The illegal flow of small arms and light weapons has devastating consequences.
Nigerian Air Force intensifies onslaught against criminals in northwest Nigeria. And federal government warns states of possible flooding from release of water from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. We begin at the State House. A week after the signing of the Cape Town Convention Practice Directions, Vice President Kashim Shettima has again assured stakeholders in the country's aviation industry of the federal government's commitment to creating a more conducive and better operating environment for airlines. He gave the assurance during a meeting with airline operators of Nigeria at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
Members of the airline operators of Nigeria coming back to the presidential villa after the signing of the Cape Town Convention Practice Directions, describing it as a major boost for ease of doing business in Nigeria's aviation industry. This meeting is part of the government's bid to address foreign exchange issues and the backlog of payments with the Central Bank of Nigeria, the National Hajj Commission, and the airline operators of Nigeria. Noting the fragile nature of airline operations, Allen Onyema, representative of the operators, said airlines are exceptional and any little infraction can take an airline out of the market, stressing the need for continued support in line with global practices to ensure the sector's sustainability and growth.
Everybody wants to do business with Nigeria. The foreign lessors have been contacting some of us. I say, oh, congratulations. I've been getting congratulatory messages from all over the world, even from representatives of Boeing and other manufacturers. They are very happy with what the president did. The vice president has taken it upon himself to make sure that Nigerian airlines are giving their dues abroad.
We're going now to continue the discussions. It was a productive one. All the agencies that were involved in some of the issues that were raised by airline operators last week were present, and some was also delegated to the Honorable Minister of Finance. The Honorable Minister of Aviation is also keeping close tabs on this. But because His Excellency has put such an importance on this, on supporting Nigerian businesses in aviation and other sectors, there was another company in another sector in attendance. We're going to have the follow-up meeting immediately and get back to him. He's giving us by Monday to have some concrete outcomes.
After the meeting, stakeholders in the aviation industry agreed on continuous engagement with a view to addressing challenges and making the environment conducive for improved investment and better service delivery. From the State House, Abdulrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has underscored the crucial role the Nigerian capital markets must play in the realization of the targets of the Tinubu administration to create a $1 trillion economy. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he received executive members of the Association of Capital Market Academics of Nigeria, led by its president, Professor Uche Walike, at the presidential villa. Here again is State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila.
A knowledge-driven age without the skill set cannot make progress, and the capital market has a very prominent role to play in pushing the $1 trillion economy of the renewed Hope Train. Vice President Kashim Shettima commended the efforts of the capital market experts, emphasizing the significance of their contributions to the ongoing intervention to transform the nation's economy. Professor Uche Waleki, the president of the association, said they were at the presidential villa to give the association support to the reforms of the Tinubu administration in the areas of fiscal policy. Saying the Capital Market Association, specializing in financial market research, has taken steps to strengthen the bond between academia and industry. In a move that signifies the growing importance of academic inputs in national economic policies, the association has conferred Fellowship of Capital Market Academics to the Vice President, which is the highest membership status. The decision made unanimously at the last conference recognizes Vice President Shettima's role as the chairman of the National Economic Council. And with this award, what remains is the inaugural lecture, a very important condition for the award. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Talking security, President Bola Tinubu has assented to the National Center for Control of Arms, Small Arms and Light Weapons Bill, in line with the UN Charter on Arms Proliferation. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the center is further domesticating the UN Charter and mainstreaming the fight against illicit arms trade.
In the past, weapons like guns, bow and arrows were basically used by hunters, gaming, and to protect communities from wild animal invasion. With civilization, more sophisticated weapons are manufactured and are mostly used by state actors like the military and paramilitary. Consequently, there are more than 12 billion rounds of ammunition manufactured annually, 857 million small and light weapons in circulation globally. 70% of these are said to be in Africa, with Nigeria having the largest number. These have amplified different criminal activities in parts of the country, with women mostly vulnerable during these armed conflicts.
The illegal flow of small arms and light weapons has devastating the consequences, fueling violence, instability, and insecurity in various parts of the world. As we all know, the most traumatic effects of this crisis usually befall women and children. This workshop on gender mainstreaming is especially important as it corresponds with the United Nations Security Council resolution, which emphasizes the role of women in conflict prevention and peace building.
The Office of the National Security Advisor is focused on tracing and tracking the root of this illicit trade.
Just recently, the President assented to the bill establishing the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, a major milestone in our commitment to curbing the proliferation of illegal arms. This legislative backing strengthens the center's mandate and paves the way for more coordinated and decisive action.
With the presidential assent, the center is committed to further domesticating UN charters on arms. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Growing dependence on artificial intelligence and digital platforms is increasing cyber and security threats in the country. Again, Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the federal government, through the National Cyber Security Coordination Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, is rising to the occasion to address these threats.
Africa's Cyber Security Report 2021 indicates that cyber attacks in Africa increased by 300% in 2022 in the face of digital growth, while 71% of organizations in Nigeria recorded cyber attacks, resulting in huge loss of revenue. These attacks, that are likely to triple in 5 years, are a major challenge to global domain targeting socioeconomic activities.
AI does a lot of criminal activities as well, not just as a service. But
this platform is preparatory to the 2024 Cybersecurity Conference aimed at addressing threats relating to artificial intelligence and cybersecurity.
What we intend to do is to bring to ground from all stakeholders to understand that cybersecurity is important, that you must build defenses and that you must collaborate in building those defenses. And you must learn from the weaknesses of others and to generally protect ourselves as we get to more interconnectivity.
we are also looking at, within the law enforcement framework, How does that happen? What are the investigative ability? Our law enforcement are being trained now to look at the AI in total. How will you use AI to commit a crime? I think we will be looking at what are the futures of this AI. What can we do with AI? How do we also protect ourselves against AI?
The conference will also provide possible solutions to threats posed by AI. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Air Force has intensified airstrikes against criminal elements in the northwest and is working to deploy a quick response wing to increase military presence in vulnerable communities. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar affirmed this while on an operational tour of the air components of Operation Hadarin Daji and 213 Forward Operating Base in Katsina. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
The visit by the Chief of the Air Staff is to bolster security efforts and strengthening collaboration with Katsina State in addressing the challenges of banditry and other insecurity in the Northwest region. Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, indicates that during the visit, Air Marshal Abubakar paid a courtesy visit to the Governor of Katsina State, Diko Umar Rada, expressing gratitude for his unwavering commitment to supporting the NAF and fostering a secure environment in Katsina State. Air Marshal Abubakar highlighted the significant progress made in securing the state, noting that the recent planting season was largely free from interference by bandits, a feat attributed to the governor's robust security measures. He assured Governor Rada of the NAF's continued support in protecting farmers during the upcoming harvest season, emphasizing the importance of safe and productive agricultural activities to the Katsina State economy. Governor Diko Umar Rada expressed deep appreciation for the unwavering support of the NAF in ensuring peace and security in the state. The governor also expressed optimism that the planned farmers' protection operations and increased military presence in vulnerable areas will foster a more secure environment for the upcoming harvest season. Earlier, the air chief had proceeded to the air component Operation Hadarin Daji, where he received intelligence and operational briefs concerning the ongoing efforts in the fight against banditry and highlighted the progress made in the recent months. Subsequently, the Chief of the Air Staff visited the 213 Forward Operation Base, Katsina, where he was briefed on the operational readiness of the Quick Response Wing, including the ongoing operational plans aimed at improving security in vulnerable communities across Katsina State. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Apart from heightening surveillance in search of smuggled goods, the Joint Border Patrol Team, Sector 2, Southwest Zone, says its interventionist role in arresting illegal migrants is to check individuals that may threaten national security and safety of the people. The coordinator of the team, Mohammed Shaibu, while outlining recent efforts of the unit, pointed to the rescue of 18 victims of human trafficking as one of the many success stories justifying its operations. Michael Olaleye reports.
Keeping vigil across the borderline, the team confirmed could be tedious, but the zeal to fulfill its constitutional mandate has been the motivation. In the third quarter of the year, the coordinator said 156 illegal migrants were arrested and handed over to the Nigerian Immigration Service, in which 125 were refused entry.
11 persons refused departure, 18 trafficked in person, and 2 suspected trafficking agents who violated immigration laws and were immediately handed over to the Nigerian Immigration Service for further investigation and prosecution.
The smuggling of petrol and rice is a common practice within the team's area of responsibility, and within the period under review, goods with duty-paid value of 1.4 billion naira were seized. The solace for the team is not just found in raising demand notices of more than 25 million naira, but carrying out its operations devoid of casualty.
These groups of unpatriotic citizens will help us to contend with, as the sector has deployed intelligence to apprehend offenders. The sector is fully prepared to face the challenge ahead as we are into the last quarter of the year.
While the Joint Border Patrol Team Section 2 Southwest Zone promised to enhance collaboration and intelligence gathering, it is calling on communities around the border to sensitize their subjects on the dangers of smuggling. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. You're welcome back. Farming is not just an occupation, but a way of life which can create employment opportunities for Nigeria's youth population, help diversify the economy and guarantee food security, especially with more hands and the right tools. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this during the official launch of the Young Farmers Club Nigeria by the Renewed Hope Initiative in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
In the recent past, the picture of students with writing materials in one hand and the other hand firmly gripping a farming tool, ready to till the ground, was commonplace.
To respect our land and resources.
The launch of Young Farmers Club by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is not only expected to bring back those old days when agriculture and education share the same space, but also answer the question of who will feed the future in a world with rising population.
The aim of the Young Farmers Club Nigeria is to catch them young by making farming more appealing to our pupils and students. We are not just teaching them how to farm, we are also nurturing a generation that will transform our agricultural landscape, imbibe modern farming techniques, and ensure that Nigeria remains self-sufficient in food production, in line with the food security drive of the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. The Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, is launching the Young Farmers Club Nigeria with some pilot schools in the Federal Capital Territory to kickstart the club nationwide. Each member is proudly kitted in their club uniform and has been provided with a watering can and hoe as starter tools, with all expenses paid for by the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Handing out club's handbook, membership cards and farm implements to 240 members of the club, the First Lady says the institutional framework for the Young Farmers Club has already been worked out by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
This they have done by making financial provision in their budget to scale up the club rollout nationwide. Interested schools nationwide should register with the First Ladies of their respective states. This registration will then be channeled to the Young Farmers Club desk office at the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security offices in their various states for necessary provisions and support.
Formally inducting the members, Minister of Agriculture Abubakar Kyari says the initiative marks a milestone in ongoing efforts to promote innovation and innovators in the sector.
As you embrace the opportunities that lie ahead, may you lead with integrity and contribute positively to your communities and nation at large.
The recent federal government policy, which focuses on vocational education and the development or attainment of the SDGs, definitely aligns with what we are doing here today.
And the new inductees are poised to embrace their new role in nation building.
I'm expected to farm and to inspire others to promote agriculture in my school. We are going to have to plant everything because it's going to be useful in the future.
By enlisting their participation, the Renewed Hope Initiative is achieving its set mandate in agriculture, one of its key priority areas. From the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
We turn our attention to environmental matters now. More victims of the flood disaster in Maiduguri have received relief materials from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, as part of its intervention measures. Director General of the agency, Zubeda Umar, who personally presented the relief items, was assisted by Zainab Gimba, Member House of Representatives. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
The distribution of relief items was categorized into two. It started with that of the elderly, who apart from receiving 25 kg bag of rice and a carton of spaghetti, they are also given already sewn clothes. This gesture, no doubt, brought smiles on the faces of the victims. They commended the federal government through NEMA for the consistent deployment of food and non-food items for their upkeep. NEMA's Director General Zubaida Umar said arrangements have been made to ensure equitable distribution of relief items to every victim in order to prevent possible outbreak of epidemics owing to the flooded water. NEMA has stationed its water treatment van in strategic locations to provide treated water for the victims. Some of the victims say this initiative is commendable.
Hi, the water is so tasteless, odorless and colorless. It's sweet.
John Deere operates the water purification van.
So it does 3 levels of filtration, which is reverse osmosis, I think is the best presently now for water purification.
So how long does it take to get this kind of finished water?
If we set up, in 1 hour, we can pump about 2,000 liters of water to drink.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum said all the 36 internally displaced persons camps will be collapsed in the next 2 weeks, believing that before then the flooded water would have completely receded. From Maiduguri, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has issued alerts to all states that are close to the River Benue system as the authorities of Lagdo Dam in Cameroon have informed Nigeria of a regulated water release starting from Tuesday, 17th September 2024. In a statement signed by the Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Umar Ibrahim Mohammed, the water release is going to be at the rates expected to increase gradually in the next 7 days, depending on the inflow from the upstream Garua River, which is the main feeder into the reservoir and a major contributor to the Benue River. NISA wants governments at all levels, especially states of Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Edo, Delta, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River and rivers to step up vigilance and deploy adequate measures to reduce possible impact of flooding that may occur as a result of increase in flow levels of major rivers at this period. The agency also stated that it will continue to monitor closely the flow situation of the transboundary river Benue and the national inland rivers by providing regular updates on water levels across major rivers to flood disasters. And the House of Representatives showed its support for Borno State's flood victims with a 100 million naira donation. This was when a delegation of the House, led by Representative Al-Hassan Adodogwa, visited Governor Babagana Umar Zulum in Maiduguri to offer condolences as well as solidarity with the governments and people of the state. Presenting the donation on behalf of the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and all members of the Green Chamber, Al-Hassan Adodogwa pledged the National Assembly's commitment to ensuring legislative and budgetary solutions to flood disasters across the country. The House also commended President Bola Tinubu's swift response to the plight of the Borno people at this critical time. The delegation also visited the Shehu of Borno, His Royal Highness Garbai El Kanemi, where they reiterated their commitment to supporting the people of Borno State in rebuilding and recovering from the flood's devastation. Elsewhere, residents of Mpape, a densely populated district in Buari Area Council of the FCT, have called on relevant agencies of government to swing into action to investigate and find lasting solutions to the recent tremors being witnessed in the area. The tremor, which is said to have started on Friday evening, has persisted, throwing the residents into a state of fear and panic. Ramatu Abdullahi reports.
Mpape is a suburb of the FCT, characterized with hills and a lot of mining activities being carried out around the area. Residents since last Friday have experienced sleepless nights as a result of earth tremor witnessed in the area that was accompanied with devastating vibration with loud sounds that have thrown them into panic. Mostly affected were residents of PW neighborhood and Mopo 24 barracks areas of Mpape. Provost of the barrack and other residents said they have surveyed the mining sites around the areas and are sure the sound is not from a blast from the site.
Started on Friday, something like from 5 o'clock in the evening. We just hear the first sound. After we hear the first sound, we just think maybe like it's a bomb blast. Before you know, it started again by 9. Before you know, so we started from that day, but yesterday was worst.
Nobody was able to sleep. Some even left Pape. Some even slept in the church because of the fear of the story building falling down.
So just begin start to the check, waiting the shake. After they stand, I see the thing shake. Me where they stand, the thing shake. I think say not there the thing there. That's what people they begin they run.
As if they blast a rock, but the shaking is not like blasting of rock. It will shake the bulb, the whole house, even the windows, even TV like say it fall down.
Many residents have fled their home out of fear, while others camp for safety at mosques and churches within the area whenever the tremor begins. District head of Mpape, Musa Fada, said similar situation was witnessed in 2018, 5 years ago, calling on government to investigate the situation to find lasting solutions.
It happened 5 years ago. Let them do the same thing to sack, to know what is the problem of it.
The district head also called on residents to remain calm for authorities concerned to address the situation. Ramatu Abdullahi, NTA.
Well, the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency has allayed fears over the earth tremors experienced in Mpape, Katampe, Maitama and other areas of the Federal Capital Territory. Director General Professor Olusegun Ige disclosed that the agency monitors the tremors and found them to be low and did not pose any threat to the environment. He notes that the monitoring station, NGSA-5 at Katampe, has been capturing several significant ground motions with high moment magnitudes in the past 5 days, beginning from September 13th to date. And only one mild event was recorded on September 13th. 6 of these events were captured on the 14th of September, while over 21 events were captured on the 15th with higher intensities. NGSA advises residents of the affected areas to remain calm as the situation is being monitored. All right, we'll take another quick break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day. NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company